Hey guys, it's Brendan Cooper here, Head of Travel for Inspiring Vacations. My pleasure today to be talking to you a little bit about Antarctica and what you might expect if you're going to be booking on any of our Antarctica trips. The one that we're going to be covering off on today is our 14-day Antarctica expedition. Now, this particular one is a great introductory trip. If you've never been to Antarctica before, for a lot of people they haven't. I mean, obviously it's once in a lifetime destination. This is a great one to start with. So this particular trip, you're actually going to fly into Buenos Aires. You've got a couple of nights in Buenos Aires. From there, you're actually going to board a charter flight down to Ushuaia. Now, Ushuaia is right down on the far tip of Argentina, and that is going to take you right down to that far tip of the South American continent, as close as you can get to Antarctica, actually, without going across. You're going to board the vessel, and the vessel that we're going to use for this particular voyage is Hurtigruten Fridtjof Nansen. This is an incredible ship. We'll come back to that in a little moment and just talk a little bit about it because they are incredible brand new vessels for the Hurtigruten fleet. And then you're going to head down to Antarctica. Now, yes, you're going to have to go across the Drake Passage. Everyone does get a little bit apprehensive about that journey. It's either called the Drake Shake or it can be as flat as a tack. So just unfortunately, luck is on your side with that one. Hopefully it'll be a very pleasant voyage across. Once you get across to Antarctica, you're going to spend an amazing 5 days down there on the Antarctic Peninsula itself. Now, the itinerary for this part, it's not set. It can't be set because what happens, we're completely at the mercy of the weather. Now, the captain has the final say as to where you'll be landing and making your trip onto Antarctica itself. But I'm pleased to say they aim to get you off the ship every single day while you're down in Antarctica. Now, to do this, it is an incredible experience. This is an expedition voyage. So what that means is you're going to board Zodiacs. Zodiacs are those inflatable rubber vessels. A little bit more substantial than that. They're kind of like the ones that you see the Navy SEALs roaming around on. So it's a bit of an adventure itself. You board those vessels. They take roughly 12 to 14 people per ship. And then they actually take you across to land on these Zodiacs, which is amazing. Now, there's no ports down there. You're not going to be getting off on some nicely made pier or anything like that. You're literally going to be climbing out of one of these vessels and stepping foot on Antarctica itself. Now, there's a whole range of different things they get you off the ship to do throughout the day. So if you're not on land, what they will do with these little vessels as well is they'll do things like ice cruising. For me, this is one of the absolute highlights. This is actually where they take you up really close to some of the icebergs around the area. And what's really amazing about this is you get that incredible coloration. So icebergs from afar, yes, they just look white. When you get up nice and close to them, they're these mesmerizing colors of really, really rich blues. Looks like crystal blue, and that actually signifies the age of the ice. The deeper the blue, the older the ice is. And so once you get up close, you can actually start hearing the ice cracking as it's heating up in the sun during the day. And it's a really amazing experience. If you're lucky enough, while you're doing some of these ice cruisings as well, it is a good time to be spotting wildlife like whales that might be swimming throughout the region. Now, when you're onshore, a lot of people say, well, I want to get off as much as possible. You're absolutely going to have the opportunity to do that as part of the trip with Hurtigruten. They tend to try and get most people off twice a day. However, they aim to get everybody off once a day. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but actually once you're onshore, it's heaps of time to be exploring. They will map out the route. So when you get on land, they try and minimize our impact on the environment. They don't want us just walking off everywhere, leaving footprints in all directions. They actually lay out a route for you to walk around, and they're experts, all fields actually. You've got geologists, you've got wildlife experts, you've got botanists, all your onboard crew comes on shore. They tell you about the things that you're looking at. They tell you about the wildlife that might be present. They tell you about how Antarctica was created. It's an amazing experience. It's very, very, very informative, and that's what's great about expedition cruising. It's not just a relaxing holiday. It can be very relaxing, but at the same time, you're actually learning about the regions that you're going through, which makes these voyages incredibly special. Now, when you get on shore, you can be on shore really for as long as you like. They do try and say be on there for about an hour before you come back to the ship, but what happens is you land on shore, you might go for a walk, you might come back, and you're free to get on any boat back to the ship. They have the Zodiacs going back and forth between the ship all day, and you can choose when you want to come back. For most people, it's pretty cold, so generally an hour on land is plenty. They come back to the nice warm vessel, and then they get to do it all again the next day. Now, the other things, the ship itself. The ship itself is really, really special. So these are hybrid vessels. They're two of the newest. So they've got their Amundsen and their Nansen ships. We're using the Nansen for this particular package. It's one of their newest vessels. So this is a hybrid vessel. It's a combination, obviously, of traditional diesel and electric. And the great thing about it is they use the electric engines when you're in these like pristine wildernesses, because they can coast silently through the iceberg. So you don't have that background ship noise. You're literally just coasting in complete silence, listening to obviously the surrounds and the ice cracking next to you, which is amazing. The ship is great. It's got 3 onboard restaurants. You've got your standard restaurant, which is where your included dining is. I might say that your meals are included every day. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner is included every day. And you have your drinks included with your meals as well. So you get a selection of house wines, beers, and soft drinks included throughout your voyage when you're having your meals. Outside of that, there is obviously a bar, both upstairs in the observation deck and on the back of the vessel near the pool as well, where you can obviously enjoy a quiet drink as you watch the world go by. There's 2 other restaurants on board, which is great. It allows you to have that variation in what you're eating. And then your cabins. So the cabin that comes included, all of them have windows, which is great. There's none of those inside cabins, so you're not going to have no window. So the leading cabin does come with a window, and they're not those portholes. They tend to be sort of those panoramic windows or rectangular in style, which is fantastic. So our package starts at that level, and there are options for those people that are wanting to have a balcony as well. I highly recommend, if you're going to go all this way on a once-in-a-lifetime experience, go the balcony. Yes, it is a little bit more expensive, but everything happens outside. All the wildlife is outside, all the icebergs are outside. And what's fantastic is if you've got a balcony, you don't have to quickly like put all your clothes on and run upstairs if they announce that they've seen something. If there's a pod of whales off in the distance, what the ship will usually do is say there's whales off on the left-hand side of the ship. Now, if you've got a balcony on the left-hand side of the ship, you just step out and you can see the whales straight away. So my recommendation, make this a really special journey. Go to the balcony, you won't regret it. If you don't choose to go that option though, there's plenty of locations on the ship where you have bird's eye views of everything that's happening around. So it's a great experience regardless. The other thing, I guess, is the travel period. Now it is very condensed. You go to Antarctica at a very narrow window of the year. Tends to start at the start of November and tends to finish towards the start of March. We have dates spanning those 2 seasons. It's a great time to go. A lot of the people say the peak time to go is January. Yes, it is. It is a good time to go. It's the middle of summer. Actually, I quite like going on the tail ends of the year. The reason being is everything is its freshest. If you go in those starting months in November, nobody's been there before you. The ice is covering everything. You've got a lot more sea ice as well because it's a lot colder. And you're getting that real pristine view of Antarctica. If you go right at the end of the year as well, it's a great time to go because the wildlife is very prevalent at that time. A lot of them have come back for breeding, and you get those sort of big migrations of things like penguins and stuff like that as well, which is fantastic. Great trip for you to experience if you've never been to Antarctica before. If you've been there before and you want to go back, this is probably one of the ideal trips for you. It's on sale this weekend. Please do call us if you've got any questions on 1300 88 6688. We look forward to hearing from you soon.